Nice and lovely day, everyone. This is Teacher Jara from Camglish.com. Come and join me again for another fun and interesting lesson about English grammar. We will use the book Essential Grammar in Use, 3rd edition by Raymond Murphy. For today, we will deal with Unit 90, and we will encounter the words the oldest and the most expensive. We call these two words superlative adjectives. Again, they are called superlative adjectives. The superlative of an adjective is the greatest form of the adjective. This indicates that something has at least one feature to a greater degree than anything it is being compared to in a given context. In this context, we will not only deal with superlative adjectives, but we will also study again comparative adjectives. Can you still remember that? Let's have a quick recap. Comparative adjectives are formed by adding er at the end of the adjective or adding the word more. So by looking at this picture, we can say that box A is bigger than box B, right? It's bigger. So we use the comparative adjective. Now let's go to the second sentence. Box A is bigger than all the other boxes. Do you think it's correct? Because let's remember that comparative adjective differentiates two nouns, right? But in this case, we have two. Oh, not more than two, which is 4. So is it correct to use comparative? No. We are going to use the superlative adjective. So box A is the biggest box, right? Now let's go to another sentence. The Europa Hotel is more expensive than the Grand. Let's take a look at that. Europa Hotel cost £140 and Grand Hotel cost £125, so it's correct. It's more expensive. Now let's proceed to the next sentence and let's see if it's correct. The Europa Hotel is more expensive than all the other hotels in the city. Is it correct? Of course no, because the correct sentence for that is the Europa Hotel is the most expensive hotel in the city, right? Because we are differentiating more than two, so we cannot use comparative adjectives, right? So let's remember that superlative is used to say what thing or person has the most of a particular quality within a group or of its kind. So it's describing or differentiating two or more, okay? Now let's have this one. Bigger, older, and more expensive. These are examples of comparative forms, which we learned from Unit 87. Now in Unit 90, we are going to discuss the words biggest, oldest, and most expensive, which are superlative forms. So are you now ready to learn more about superlative forms? Let's get it on. So first, let's learn about the rules that we are going to deal with when we are talking about superlative form. Let's take it one by one. The first rule is to add est at the end of the adjective for the short words like old, cheap, and nice. So we will just add est, okay? So let's check the superlative forms of these adjectives. For old, it will become the oldest, cheap, the cheapest, and nice, the nicest. Okay, remember the first rule, okay? It's very easy. Now guys, can you still remember irregular adjectives? Okay, irregular adjectives are adjectives when you change its form, it also changes its spelling. Like good, the comparative form of that is better, and the superlative form is best. Okay, so the best. And also with the word bad, worse, and then the worst. So remember that rule, okay? So let's go on now with rule number 3. For words of one syllable with one vowel and one consonant at the end, like for the word big, we just double the consonant and add est to the end of the word. So it will become biggest. B-I-G-G-E-S-T. Same as for hot, the hottest, okay? So remember that third rule. Now let's have another rule. For words ending in Y, like for the words easy and heavy, we will just change Y to I, then add est. For easy, it will be the easiest, heavy, the heaviest, and pretty, the prettiest. So can you give me more example on this rule? One example for this rule is happy and then happiest, okay? So don't forget this one, okay? Now let's move on to another rule. How about with the long words? Like for example, careful, expensive, and interesting. What are we going to do? So the thing that we should do is to add the word most. The most careful, the most careful. Interesting, the most interesting. Okay, so can you give me more examples for this? Here I have an example. It's the word beautiful. And the superlative form of that is most beautiful. Okay, so this is the end of our lesson. I hope you learned a lot about superlative form of the adjectives. Again, this is Teacher Jera saying, study hard and do good. I hope you will enroll in camglish.com. See you in our next class. Bye-bye.